So today we are gonna see the part two of this series. So in part one, if you didn't watch, I recommend you watch it. So in part one, we have covered about creating and understanding um, a basic agent, like how we can create a tool calling agent. And in this tutorial, what we'll do is we're gonna implement and understand this part. So mostly it's a RAG system. Okay, so we'll try to implement this and understand more about it in detail. So welcome to Agentflow Academy, and this is Agent Development Basics. Okay, so let's get started. So what are the problems with the system we have here right now? So first problem is that LLMs have knowledge cutoff. So if you say, if you ask an LLM what happened today, it will fail you to give you the information. It will hallucinate about what has happened today because it doesn't have the knowledge or the information of updating like the time and everything. Now, so that's a big problem. So if they don't have the right access to the information, they try to hallucinate. So we don't want that, right? And they also don't have access to private or proprietary data. So for instance, if you see nowadays, a lot of websites online are restricting LLMs or crawlers to access their content. It's because they don't want them to be used for training the LLMs or whatsoever. And some cases you have some sensitive information that your organization is using that you don't want others to know. So in those cases as well, LLMs will fail you to provide the information. So what is RAG? So RAG is also called as Retrieval Augmented Generation. So it combines information retrieval with text generation. So it's like an LLM that have a reference to look into. No? So if you ask a question, before it gives you an answer, if it doesn't know about it, instead of hallucinating, it's going to consult a library, a knowledge base, or whatsoever, and see if it has anything that is related to your input query. And then if it finds something that is relevant, that will give you the information. So these are some core components that are present in our RAG system. So one is we have a knowledge base. This is the place where we have all of our like documents or data notes or whatsoever, right? And we have embeddings. So think of embeddings as translators. So LLMs doesn't understand natural words. No, on the front end you interact with in a natural way, but underneath the hood, it's all numbers. So embeddings are more like systems that gonna translate your input queries into numbers that LLMs can understand. So vector store is a place where all these embeddings will be stored, right? And then we have a retriever that will retrieve results from this vector store, and then we have an LLM. So these are like the core components that are present in our RAG system. And why do we have to use RAG in our agent? So agents, no, as we know, it's more autonomous. So when we ask it some input query, it will understand whether it has to look up for the information that's in the knowledge base, or it has to go online, or it has to provide based on its training data or whatsoever. So they have this autonomous instinct, let's say, on what to do based on your query. So they can combine multiple things. So they can combine web search, and they can access to more tools or whatsoever. And then routing of queries to appropriate sources. So imagine, let's say you have like different knowledge bases, right? So in these knowledge bases, let's say you have a tabular database, and you say you have also documental database. So with RAG, you can also go to the appropriate database for retrieval of appropriate results. So this kind of mechanism is present in the system. So yeah, we can use agents for RAG. So what is the process flow for the RAG? Let me explain you in detail. So in RAG, we have two things. One is for processing the knowledge base, and the second is for processing the input. All right. So for knowledge base, here is the flow we can follow. So when you have like docs or PDF or notes or whatsoever, or like tabular data or whatsoever, so what happens is that all this is going to be like pre-processed. Once it is pre-processed with some various tools or mechanisms, it's gonna get converted into embeddings. So once we are ready with the embeddings, what we're gonna do is we are gonna store them in a vector store. So this is our vector DB. It can be online or it can also be local. So for online, you can use tools like vector DB or Pinecone or whatsoever. And for offline, in our case, we'll use Fires. For the input side, so what happens in this, so for input now it will be probably questions. So what happens to this question is that they first converted into embedding, and once they are converted into embeddings, we will be going and doing search in the vector store. So once we are in this vector store and we do some search, we find some k chunks. These are relevant to our questions, no? um, so once we find them, we send them to an LLM. It could be like GPT, and then we process and we what we're going to do is we are going to structure this response and get the output. So this will be our output. So we give input prompt, which is this, and then we get the output, which is the response that is related to the content. As you have now understood the basic process flow of our RAG agent, then we are gonna go with now, as you know, we'll see with an implementation. So how we can implement this simple RAG agent using Python and LangChain. So let's see that. Okay, so I'm back in the Visual Studio Code, and let's create a new file called simple rag agent. So let's create all these core tools that we have seen in our rag agent. All right, so I'm gonna start the program now, but I'll explain everything in detail so you have nothing to be worried. All right, so I have created this basic program that is like a retrieval agent. So I'll explain you what's happening here. So as you know, we are familiar with all these things. These are the imports that are necessary for our agent. So here we have like OpenAI embeddings. So what's exactly happening here is like it's gonna translate our queries into embeddings. No? So that's the purpose um, of the embedding, and these vectors are useful to capture the meaning of the text. So that's what we're going to do with this here. And then here, these are the imagine these are like multiple PDFs here. For simplification purpose, I'm just using this. So you can have like multiple documents. It could be PDF or docs or whatsoever, and that would be our knowledge base. So here in our case, this is our small knowledge base. And then we have the text splitter and split talk. So it's more like doing some pre-processing, and um, so we then go to our vector store. As I told, we're going to use Fires. If I'm not wrong, I think it's developed by Meta, but yeah. So Fires is more like a local vector store, so which is in our PC, and we can use that for now. And then we have the retriever, which is going to search from this vector store, and then retrieve us the top two most relevant chunks. And then we have the rag tool. So here I'm using all the tools that are inbuilt in langchain. So but if you want to do, we need to create a custom agent, and we have created a custom tool in the previous tutorial, so make sure to check that out. And then this is our prompt template, so it's all pretty basic. And then we have our tool calling agent, and we have all of our tools listed, which is search and drag tool, and then executor, so this will start the executive chain. And then we have our question. So let's run this program and see if we can get the output that we decide. So the output of this should be a lang retrieval. There is no such thing as lang retrieval, so I purposefully created a lang retrieval here. So let's see. So I can run this by Python 3 and simple agent.py, and now it should start the execute chain. Okay, so we get an error here. Okay, I think this should be correct. Let's clear this out. And okay, now we have another, which is pip install fires. Okay, let's go to our environment and install fires CPU. So quite now. Okay, so okay, I think I made a mistake here. It's not this retriever tool. Where did I go? Okay. Okay, all right. I think we are good to go now. Let's check it again. Okay, so the program runs. So invoking our rag tool, and it is giving us the response from the information that we have given in the knowledge base. So we have that lang retrieval is a framework designed to help developers to build more advanced applications, blah 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 blah. So it's more like the information we have given here. So if you see here, it's going to be very similar. And let's say if I ask what is a langchain, and what is langchain. So for this query, as we don't have the information on the knowledge base, it should go to the web search tool and then provide us the result. So let's see. So first it should invoke our rag tool, okay, and then it should invoke our search tool, so which is responsible for our web search. All right, so I think we have both of our results, and lang retrieval is tool and what is langchain, and langchain on the other hand seems to be very close related to language. It's a component. Okay, let's ask some other query. It's quite similar here. It's the latest advancement in LLMs in the month of September 2025. So this should give us some results that we desire, because I think that it didn't call our search, but now let's see again. Okay. Oh, so I think we have a problem with our API key. Let me just fix it. Okay, so now I have fixed the API key, and now let's run it again. So this time it should call two of our tools, and let's see. Okay, So we have our answer for lang retrieval blah. And then now we are also invoking the Tawali search for our advancements in LLMs for the month of September 2025. Okay, so we have our results here, and yeah, so that's how you can build a basic RAG agent. I hope this tutorial was helpful to you, and yeah, so that's how we can implement our RAG agent. And in the next tutorial, what we will do is we will implement the whole system. So we are essentially going to create an agent that has capability of a RAG, and also it can use tools, and then it also has memory, so it can also we can also follow up on the information from the previous iterations. So yeah, stay tuned and see you in another video.